This is a production of the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network. Welcome to the Vintage Homeschool Mom Show. Your host, Felice Gerwitz, is an author, a publisher, and your radio show host. She will encourage, educate, and inspire you with answers to your most pressing questions from homeschool, marriage, parenting, and much more. Felice loves to equip moms to live a Christian life because every moment counts. Be sure to visit her website at mediaangels.com. And here's your host, Felice Gerwitz.
Hey everyone and welcome. This is Felice Gerwitz with an episode of Vintage Homeschool Moms. Today we are going to talk about summertime party planning on the cheap or party planning any time of the year. I actually put together a 35-page printable of gift giving and party idea planner, and some of the information I'm going to be sharing with you today is actually from that printable. And how do you get our printables? Well, you become a subscriber of the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network, and the way to do that is go to the website and look for the subscribe button, and you will get all kinds of wonderful printables and freebies each month for being a subscriber, as well as information about our podcasts and what is happening in our neck of the woods. So hopefully you will subscribe and join, and also subscribe to this podcast. You can get updated episodes, and it is awesome. I appreciate all of you who do currently subscribe. I really appreciate when you give us a star rating on iTunes. I always say us, it's just me. Well, us in that other podcasters on the network. So give us all star ratings if you listen to the podcast on your mobile device or on your favorite website. All right, so today we have a wonderful sponsor. Thanks to our sponsor, the well-planned gal, Rebecca Ferris. She has various planners for every homeschool need, and her prayer journal is brand new. I can't wait for you to check it out. You can see more at thewellplannedgal.com, and in just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you more about those. So today we're going to talk about planning, and I think it's like a God incident that Rebecca is our sponsor, because what better way to get ahead of your upcoming events than to plan it out. And if you have a planner that has information about homeschooling and just stuff going on in your life, it is so much easier to try to organize it that way. Well, what does it take to have a party? It takes people, it takes food, and it takes some energy. And we want to keep this all on the cheap, right? We want to plan a party that isn't going to break the bank. And so I've got some quick tips that I'm going to share with you from my printable. And one of them is to gather the troops. And what do I mean by that? Get all the help you can. Let your spouse and your children know what to expect. Allow guests to bring food. If you are having that kind of party where people can bring something, whether it's a dessert or drinks or even an activity for the kids to play, it's great when you have a group. You can, do a group invitation. You can use Evite or something like that, or just do a group email and send out the information that way. There are so many different ways you can do that as well. I prefer not to use text messaging because otherwise it can be overwhelming. But sometimes at the last minute you can do that and remind people like to bring bathing suits if you're having water activities or whatever that is. And you can mail invitations. Wouldn't that be nice to get mailed invitations every once in a while? Also for the menu, keep it simple. Either prepare it way ahead and freeze it, or buy stuff prepared. Party time is not the time to try a new recipe. Use tried and true recipes, and also ones that will go a long way. For example, hot dogs are always a favorite. Burgers tend to be a little bit more expensive. You can do things like sloppy joes, which go further. And one of my recent favorites, when I say recent, I mean like in the last few years, my daughter, the one who's married, daughter number 2, child number 2, made pulled pork. And I've shared this with you before. I am not a pork lover, but there are certain parts of the pork that I do like, and pulled pork is one. I think I love barbecue sauce, so that's part of it. And you can get a pulled pork or a pork roast, and I get one that's boneless. She gets one that's bone in, and she said that's even cheaper. But I've had to provide meals for my son's baseball team, and I bought a huge $25 roast that I cut in half, froze half of it, and for $12, and change figure, I made enough pulled pork for all of those hungry boys. And so that's something you can do either in a Instant Pot or you can do it in a slow cooker. And I prefer it in the slow cooker. I think it just breaks down the fibers better than in the Instant Pot, but the Instant Pot works well. You can also have things like grilled cheese sandwiches for the little kids. They love those, and you can cut them up into triangles and just different shapes, or even cut them lengthwise into strips and let the kids have grilled cheese. So it can be very inexpensive, or you can get fancier. And like I said, if you're going to do that, like for a, more of a traditional meal, you might want to bake something, but we want to think about doing things outdoors and with the barbecue because it is, after all, summer. So what happens if it rains? Well, do check your weather ahead. And we have one of those really big, big, big umbrellas. And so my husband has been known to barbecue outdoors with the umbrella overhead. So not that I recommend that, but do plan ahead just in case that happens. If you're doing something like pulled pork, you can do that way ahead, obviously, and then just reheat it. And that makes a great meal. And it's like it's barbecued because it has barbecue sauce on it. The other thing is, always keep crackers on hand. You can buy those in bulk and dips that are easy to make as appetizers. And, some of the things like salad and things like that, you're going to want to purchase closer to the party date. So we're having my son's graduation party in a couple of days. And as when you hear this episode, actually, it will have been a month ago. But we are having his party. So we just bought the watermelon and the peaches and stuff. I'm going to cut the watermelon out with a handle. And then we'll have the fruit within the watermelon to make it look fancy because it is, after all, his high school graduation. So we're going to do that, but I am going to use plasticware because I'm not going to be sitting in the kitchen. I would rather visit with the family that's coming. And also quick drinks like lemonade and fruit punch work well. I like unsweet iced tea, so I'll make that and have sugar for those who like sweet tea and have fresh lemons. And so it's going to be minimal as far as all of that goes, but it also is going to be great to have all these things done ahead of time. The other is I have a party planning list, and so one of the things I do is I have like a row for the theme, like a special item that's needed, guest list and invitations, if you're going to send that out, how you did it, your menu, foods to purchase, decorations on hand. Would you believe I still have graduation decorations from my daughter when she graduated from high school so many years ago? So I have some really cool blue and yellow napkins that we're going to be using that are still good. I did have to throw some stuff away, but I store these things in an air-conditioned house or a house that's cold during the winter. So those used to be stored in an area that didn't get as much ventilation as it does now. So I'm excited to be able to have some of that stuff. And also, some of the things I did purchase were dollar store things. And he had a banner from his sports that they had out for the seniors. And so that is on our fireplace. He did try to take it down, but that's not going anywhere. He finally realized that it was a losing battle. And then I'm going to have a game or activity list. Like, one of the fun things we are going to do is I have a list of questions like, how well do you know our special guest? And you can do that. And so you can set people up as pairs, even people that don't know each other. Give them a few minutes to just talk and chat and get to know each other, and then hand out sheets of questions like, what is your favorite color? What kind of ice cream do you like? And that you have to guess what the other person likes. If you know someone, it's a little bit easier and it's a fun thing to do. And then also figure out what are some special activities that you're going to do. Is someone going to give the graduate or whatever your theme is a speech, or is there something that is going to be up, like decorations? And I already have mine up, even though it is 3 days ahead of the event. Our decorations are up, so we're getting to see festive, congratulations on your graduation up for a few days ahead of time. And so my son did ask when his picture gets to come down, and I said at the end of the month. So we'll see if he leaves it up that long. But if you're doing a fun summertime party, it could be a theme like, Cowboys, or it could be a backyard fair, or it could be a princess party or a hat party. It can be anything you want, or a sports party. And then the themes and the decorations can be very minimal. If you're having a cowboy party, have everyone dressed in cowboy wear. They can just wear a cowboy hat and shorts and a shirt. It doesn't have to be extravagant. You can have things like water guns, and then you can have some like cheap cowboy hats on hand for those that forget, as well as to give as prizes if you want to. For Princess Party, you can have, teacups, little plastic ones, flavored water. My kids did not like tea, so that was a big waste, or even lemonade. And then you can have served sandwiches with, like even if you do grilled cheese sandwiches, cut off the crust, and that looks fancy. So whatever you do, whatever your theme is, it can be very inexpensive. And then for the food, I have a list of what I'm going to make ahead, and I also have my decoration prep, what I'm doing ahead. Now, the day of our party, I will be inflating balloons. So whatever that is for you that you're going to do the day of, just make sure that you have a list and have that ready, and also have someone designated, like I already know who's going to do that in my family. Also, day of the party, someone's going to go pick up the cake. My kids like this specific store-bought cake, which I do not like, which is good because it saves me calories. I'll be eating fruit. But I did order it, and so someone has to go pick it up. So I already ordered it, and I put it in my other son's name so that when he goes to pick it up, he can just give them his name and pick up the cake. He's also going to pick up some bread the day of because I wanted some fresh rolls. So another thing, like what time are your guests coming and what are you setting out first? So all of that stuff is important. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to share with you some more of my favorite party ideas and tips. We'll be right back. A planner is not a planner unless it is a well-planned planner. The Well-Planned Gal, Rebecca Ferris, is a homeschool mom who has a gift, and she shares her talents with us in her planner series. A few of the amazing planners available are the Well-Planned Day, Student Planners, and even the High School 4-Year Planner. The newest planner is the Well-Planned Prayer Planner with an all-in-one planner and organizer. Organize your day with a focus on placing God first. Journaling 101 as well as scripture verses permeate this beautiful book. Take it everywhere and you will have all the information you need at your fingertips. Best of all, it becomes a keepsake and a wonderful guide for making prayer a priority. This journal is truly life-changing. Visit wellplannedgal.com for more information. Hey everyone, everyone, and welcome back. This is Felice Gerwitz with an episode of Vintage Homeschool Moms. This is episode 280, and we're talking about summertime party time on the cheap. And I've got a graduation coming up, but we have given parties in the summer before, and it's always fun to do. You know, it just takes some food, some fruit, and, things that are water related, like, some water balloons and things like that. So you can definitely do it on the cheap. You can find the show notes for today's episode on Vintage Homeschool Moms. Look for Summertime Party Time on the Cheap, episode 280. So you're going to have, stuff planned ahead. And one of the things is games or activities and who's in charge and when is this taking place. So one time we went to a party that actually Meredith Curtis had, and it was a really fun get-together. She had this Finish Well. It was a homeschool conference that was basically for kids who were getting into high school. And so she had the kids playing airsoft. So that was going on when people arrived. And so the kids could just get right into it if they wanted to play. And if not, they didn't have to. But that was available. And then she had pizza ordered for them so that once the moms were done with our time together and we had kind of a question and answer, it was really cool the way she had it set up. And I hope she does it again. You just have to visit her website at FinishWellCon. It's finishwellcon.com. And, give a shout out to Meredith. You can find her on her website. And also she has a podcast on the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network. And you can contact her that way. But anyway, it was really great because the kids came as well as the adults, and she had it all ready to go, and it was organized, and she had people in charge. So I think that's one of the keys to having a great party is to have people that are helping you all along the way. Scavenger hunt is great. In my printables, I have scavenger hunt planner, and it is really great, and it has some details on how to do a scavenger hunt. So the way you get these planners is that you are a member of the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network email group, and these are coming out all the time. Every month there's a new planner, and this one in particular was a special one that was created. That has the scavenger hunt in it, and the January one did as well. So how do you plan for a scavenger hunt? First, you determine what the treasure is and get that hidden first. And then you're going to backtrack. So you probably want anywhere from 5 to 10 clues. And then they are going to be, you can either do them on your computer. I do it like that because then I can go back and just change the clues a little bit and, or switch them around. Work backwards, look at the clues leading up to the final one, plan how many you're going to have, and plan clue locations. You can plan clue locations such as a kitchen utensil drawer or a fireplace if you have one, or the front door, and you just give clues, something like the place where we go to warm our hands on a cold winter night. And then, kids will go to the kitchen oven. They'll go different places looking for it, but it's really fun. And then whoever finds the next clue gets to read it. And the clues are all numbered. Do a dry run of your scavenger hunt the first time you've ever done one, because otherwise it just can be hilarious when you mess up and things are in the wrong place. And you can even host a scavenger hunt party. Party themes can be Hawaiian, beach, game theme, sports theme, tea party theme. The American Girl theme was big for a while. Bugs and Critters theme, trucks and cars, the Cowboy theme, rodeo theme, hat theme, princess, sports, campfire, puzzle party theme. It can be anything along those lines. Puzzles are very inexpensive, and that is really a fun party to have. I am turning, our upstairs has a big room where our schoolroom used to be. Makes me sad to talk about this. Get a little choked up here, but So our schoolroom is no longer our schoolroom because I'm graduating my last, but it is going to be a game room among other things. So I found a very inexpensive table recently. That's a square table. I'm going to use chairs. We already have folding chairs. And I'm going to set up some things, so like chessboards and checkerboards, and we have a closet full of games that nobody plays anymore because the kids are grown up. And yet they still will play checkers and chess. And then I'm going to have a table that will have puzzles. So those are great things for rainy day activities, as well as, any time that you're watching TV or, have that out. For the teens, you can have a wild sports theme where activities are all outdoor and sports related. You can have a theater theme. That is fun, a heroes theme or a Heroes for Jesus party, or a game contest theme. And then Christmas parties, even though we're not talking about that, we're talking about summer parties. Some of the things are listed on the party theme. What about regular things like, birthday and anniversary and stuff like that? I have, through the years, kept some of the same things. Like, for example, I bought candles a long, long time ago, and I use that. I'm going to use them for Mike's graduation because they are a cream-colored yellow, and they kind of, like, they're in between that gold, and they kind of go with everything. And that's, kind of the graduation colors tend to be navy and yellow or red or whatever, but the colors that we're going to use are ones that we have on hand. And so when you do a summertime party, look at things that you already have on hand, like candles or balloons. I think fresh flowers make everything look better. I probably will not have fresh flowers at my son's graduation. It's if he was a girl, I probably would. But you could do things like baby breath as a filler and things like that. And I use small little vases because it can make one bunch of flowers go very, very far. You can decorate things, like in the house. If you're doing a outdoor party during the summer, you can take little white lights and decorate trees, and it just immediately gives it a festive look. You can string lights. I think that makes everything look great. You could do tablecloths. You can find very inexpensive plastic tablecloths. If you go to the dollar store, you can find them for $1. You can have, I have tablecloths that are cloth tablecloths that I've had through the years, and I have like a red and gold. I use the red for Christmas time, and I use the gold all year round. So I probably won't use that. Like if I'm doing an outdoor party, I'm going to use something plastic. And I also like, I don't like to use plasticware, but I will use it. And I like to use clear plates. So if you can find clear plastic plates, those are my favorite. And I love banners. So even if you're having a cowboy theme, you can put up a banner that you've made yourself, or something that says welcome, and then you can decorate it with stickers that you can find. Again, keep it simple: burgers and hot dogs, mac and cheese. If you're doing it during the summer, definitely chips and salsa, pretzels, cheese, olives, pickles, grape tomatoes, grapes, melon balls, things like that. Go far. Carrots and broccoli for appetizers. You can make a homemade ranch dip. If you make it with buttermilk, it is the best ever. I started making it with buttermilk again. It is so delicious. If you have a milk allergy, you can try almond milk or something like that. You can use cream cheese spreads. That is something that is super yummy. You can just put some red pepper jelly. You melt that and you pour it over the cream cheese, and that is good. Again, you want to keep things as much as you can. Look at your menu and see if there's stuff that everyone can eat, because it seems like allergies are so prevalent now. And, our favorite type of parties, again, come with things that are very inexpensive to buy. And helium balloons always make everything look festive. I love glow sticks. We tried putting glow sticks in helium balloons, and that didn't work out as well as we had hoped. You need really big balloons for that to work. So if you have a way of doing it, drop me a message on vintagehomeschoolmoms.com, episode 280, Summertime Parties, and let me know. You could buy things like Slinkies in bulk if you, can do that and let the kids play with it. My kids love the Rubik's Cube. You can find Rubik's Cubes and give those out and have contests. You can have crafts during your summertime party. They can tie-dye t-shirts or create mobiles or play with slime or things like that. Again, have an older teen supervise. Again, I like to have adults surveying everything and keeping an eye on things. So we can do that. And then the board games I already mentioned are great. Outdoor activities like water balloons are the best, water guns, and things like that. Slip and slides when the weather permits. Just be careful with those, especially if it's someone who doesn't know how to use them. And you can do things like outdoor games like freeze tag or hiding tag game where you make up your own rules. My kids used to play hide and seek in the dark whenever we'd have a big group over, and what they would do was freeze tag. So when you found someone, you had to hide with them. Or it's called stack tag too. And so, these are all things that are fun to do that don't break the bank. Another is making paper airplanes and letting the kids fly them and see which one goes the furthest. You don't have to do prizes. I know some people like to do prizes, and if you do, you can maybe just give away a candy bar or something that, again, isn't going to be awfully expensive. And so that's something you possibly could do. Beanbag toss games are awesome. Obstacle races are really fun, and all you need are some rags to do the two-legged race or, big, sackcloths are not available everywhere anymore. If you can sew, great. You could sew those together or just use an old pillowcase. And then water balloon tosses are fun. You could do a picnic-themed party. You can do a breakfast party. We've had breakfast brunch kind of parties before that were really nice, and everybody came, and instead of having a meal, we had breakfast. So we had pancakes, and we had, this delicious French toast casserole that you can have soaking overnight, and, bacon and eggs and things like that. And that was really fun. You could even have a baking contest party. And this was a fun party we did one time, is everyone brought a special dessert, and then they lined it up and they put numbers. And so what works the best for this is really something like cookies. And then everyone can rate that dessert and, and just see whose wins, and by an anonymous vote. And that's always fun. And then, it's always fun to just spend time together and hang out. So I hope that some of these ideas have helped you, and you've given you some ideas on how you can create your backyard party or indoor party if it rains on the cheap. Take care, and remember the show notes are on episode 280, Summertime Party Time, and also vintagehomeschoolmoms.com. And also subscribe to this podcast and share it with a friend. Thank you so much, and God bless. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Homeschool Mom Show. Visit Felice at MediaAngels.com and thevintagehomeschoolmoms.com. Vintage Homeschool Moms is a production of the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network.